Hi there, it's Pony.Perfection, and today I'm going to show you how to wrap a polo wrap, standing bandage, and a shipping bandage, all Pony Club approved, and Dory is going to be our leg model today. So yeah. So for the D3 level, you have to do a polo wrap, and I have a more descriptive video of this. The link will be in the description. But basically, you just start right in the tendon area and wrap nice even pressure around. You want evenness between each time you go around. I cupped there, so there should be a little upside down V in the front. I'm making sure it's staying nice and flat with my hand there, that it's not wrinkling in any way. I like to end at the top. Nice even pressure, and this ended pretty good on the outside. I do redo it a couple of times here. I didn't like how that last one went around. See how it kind of like angled and then it got really loose at the top, so you can always fix it if it's just something little like that. Especially at a rating, you want to make sure it's pretty nice and smooth. Nothing's coming off. So overall this ended pretty well for being a quick polo wrap. The Velcro is, I would say, still Pony Club approved on the outside. Some examiners might argue that and tell you to redo it. Yeah. Next we have the standing or stable bandage. You'll need quilting for this, as well as a wrap. And I start in the groove of the tendon there and wrap around. You want to make sure the pressure is pretty even here, but if you need to pull it tighter, make sure you pull it when you're on the outside going back, so you're pulling against the cannon and not when you're on the inside coming forward, because you'll pull at the tendon. I like to stick it right underneath the fold and get a starting round, and see I kind of tightened it there. And then you have to be get a little tight with the wrap, otherwise it's too loose and it slides all over the place. But make sure that the wrap is staying extremely flat, because this is when you can wrinkle it and ruin their tendons. And then I leave a couple of inches of quilting sticking out the bottom, and I'm flattening out a wrinkle there. And then work your way back up the top, keeping the pressure even and a little tight. Don't want it too tight, but when you have really poofy quilts, you gotta keep it tight, otherwise they'll slide all over. And a couple inches at the top there, and ending it off, hopefully with the Velcro on the outside, going back. So in this case, the Velcro barely reaches around the front there. So at a rating, I might redo it, or I might use some tape. And here I'm just checking the pressure of it. Should be able to fit about 2 fingers in, shouldn't slide around when you try to move it. You do the flick test. I did that in the beginning to tell the sound it makes. Should make a different sound around the ankle, but pretty much the same over the cannon. And this is pretty good, but like I said, I use tape or clips. So, because that Velcro did not end perfectly on the outside. It might not be a wrap you leave on overnight. Next, we have the shipping bandage, and you'll also need a bigger quilt and a wrap for this. And they want these wraps really poofy. They're really hard to wrap with. But the shipping, I start on the inside and go back. I find this a little bit easier because there's more material. And when you just put it in the groove like you do with the polo and the standing, it tends to slide around more. So I'm getting it real flat there. I didn't have a block with me today, so this is just what you might do at home practicing, but for your actual clinical writing, I would get the horse on a block so you can really get that padding underneath the bulbs of the heels. So that's wrapped on, and then you'll start with your wrap. And my wrap is not long enough. Probably need about twice as much wrap as I had here, but this is what I had with me. Starts about wraps pretty much the same as the standing. Gets a little more crucial when you get down to the bulbs of the heels, where you have to cup it a bit. This is important to keep it nice and tight, so that it doesn't slide around in the trailer. And so here's when the block would have come in handy, so I could cup it a bit easier, but I got about as close as I could with the floor being right there. I'm still cupping here. It's really hard to keep the wrinkles out as you're going. You gotta really watch that. And then here I started heading up. And if you had a block, you probably could have spent one more wrap around the bulbs of the heels there. And my wrap's not going to end a few inches from the top, but ideally you'd want it just a little bit of padding showing out the top. I have quite a lot because my wrap was not long enough. And you'll see I'll point to about where it should be. Testing's about the same as the standing. You can do the flick test. It will make a different sound on the ankle though, because it's going to be tighter around there. I should be able to fit about 2 fingers in the top, maybe 1 or 2 in the bottom. There's the flick test. And again, like when you grab it and you push it up and down, it shouldn't move. It should be pretty stable. And that's about where you'd want your wrap to end. And I got a little slippage there at the bottom. I probably would have wanted to even that out a bit so there wasn't quite so much on just that one side. Overall, it ended on the outside. If I had a longer wrap, it'd probably be fine for a rating. Besides at the bulbs of the heels, I'd definitely get it up, and you want it to cover. You have a horse with a shoe, just like the end of the shoe is almost where they want it to go, but I just did a basic one. I always gotta know how to take off a wrap. This is about the quickest, safest way. You just kind of one hand to the other, one hand to the other, and this is the same for about all wraps. You just want to do it quickly so if the horse moves you don't get stuck. Here's how to tie a tail, especially when you're doing back wraps. It's hard with the tail in the way. So you twist the tail, and it's just like a knot, except you're not going to pull it all the way through. You're going to pull it through just like one end of a bow until it's tight, and that works fairly well. Materials for the standing and shipping bandage are pretty much the same. You'll need a cotton quilt and a polyester wrap bandage. But your length will differ on both. As far as shipping, they're going to be longer, and for standing, they're going to be a little bit shorter. Polo wrap should be anti-pillar fleece, preferably. That's the best material to use for polo wraps. So that was my video. Thanks for watching. There is a book on how to do this that's very good for pony club ratings. It's called Bandaging Your Horse by Susan Harris. It's a little guide. Works wonders. And best advice is just practice these bandages a lot before your ratings because they're not that hard to do. But to get them perfect takes time. So yeah, thanks for watching.